Welcome to Actual Scale Modelling. This is part 8 of Revell's Star Trek USS Voyager, the Intrepid class. Scale is 1 to 677. In this build, I'm going to be dealing with any light bleeds I may have after putting in together the saucer section and shuttle bay. And then I'll be a general clean-up of the model before the next stage can begin. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So first of all, the shuttle bay area. I've got various different kinds of sanding stick that I'm going to be using just to clean up the rough edges. First of all, I'm using a sanding file. This is a major heavy duty piece of sanding equipment, and this is going to take all the major burrs off first of all, and then I'm just gradually going to go down the grades of sanding paper until I get everything nice, flush and flat. This is quite an important process to do, hence why I'm showing it. But it does take quite a lot of time, but you want to get it as flush and smooth as possible, for when it comes to painting it will really show up if you've got left any file marks or things like that. If you do have anything that's sticking up a little bit, don't be afraid just to draw your knife over like you've just seen me doing before going back to sanding. Here I'm using Voyager plastic putty, and it's along the same lines of the underside of the saucer section. Now you're always going to get tiny little gaps here. If you're not lighting up the model, you really won't notice it so much. Because I've placed lights in it, it will shine through quite obviously. So it's better just to seal the whole rim as a matter of course. So just to be right along the edge, then wiping off any excess as I go along. Now, this next part of the build, I should have placed that in parts 5 or 6, part 6 of the build log. For some reason, I didn't put it in. I don't know why, but I completely missed it out for some reason. So I'm going to show it now, because this leads on to the next part of this stage of the build. So, as with the saucer section in the previous build, I'm placing on the masking tape over the windows to dull and diffuse the light that's going to come through. And then using some blank paint, it doesn't really matter what colour it is, as long as it's a dark colour, and I'm just painting on the tape on certain areas where the windows are to black out those windows. So it's not going to be a complete dull blackout effect when it's together, when the lights come through, but it'll be a dull colour, so I'll give the illusion of a room but with the lights turned out. So next is to put the two halves together. It's a strange fit, this. It does fit, but there is going to be filler needed. As you can see there, that seam line will transfer all the way to the outside of it, which I'm going to have to deal with. I think it's a lot to do with the shape of the part itself. Because it sits half open, it's quite difficult to line up. And although I used clamps to hold it, in the end I did have to just hold it with my hands to get it to fuse together. Next I'm on to the impulse engines. Now what I'm placing on here is, if you've seen the earlier parts of the video, I painted some clear acrylic in red and green, and this is just offcuts of that I'm placing on. Now, full disclosure, I ended up taking these off, but I'll show you that later on in the build log. But for now, the idea is to place them on here so that the red light comes shining through for the impulse engines. Then it's onto the deflector dish, so the clear part goes into it. This is a really nice fit. Sometimes these fits are not so good on the deflector dishes for some reason, but this one is a really nice fit. I'm also adding a little bit of white glue, here canopy glue, and I'm going to be adding another 2 clear parts for the top part of the deflector dish. Now I will be putting lights behind these, but I'm placing these on again to diffuse the glare of the LED. Then it's back to the secondary hull, and it's Voyager plastic putty that I'm just placing this on inside the seam line, and this will block out any light. I'm not doing it from the underside, from the other side. This is just going to go directly on the inside. Then I'll just simply wipe away any of the excess, and this will ensure as well that I get the entire seam line covered in the filler. Now here I ran into a problem. I'm dry fitting the parts together here, and where you can see the shuttle bay door, there's a massive gap. Now I'm pretty damn sure this wasn't me. I've drive tested it all the way through and everything was fitting. When I put the hull together, the secondary hull there, and dry tested it, it did not fit and it's all lined up perfectly. So it's just a bad fitting part. It's a bit annoying. Initially I thought, well, is it because I've added the shuttle bay interior and it doesn't even touch the parts when it's in, so it cannot be that. So as I say, it's just a bad fitting part. It's an easy enough fix. It just needs a lot of filler, and I'm using the melted sprue glue filler here to fill in the gap. Now the reason why I'm using the sprue glue is because when this dries, it will act exactly like the plastic itself, and I'll be able to sand it and mould it how I like. Now I'm turning my attention to the stand, and what I've got here is the inner part of an insulin pen, or you can use this is a white insulin pen, but you can use EpiPens, things like that, all spent things. Now this may work, it may not, I'm not sure, but the reason why I'm doing it is because this stand stem doesn't fit in the stand. Well, it fits just in the stand, but it doesn't fit in the model. I tried placing it in and I cracked open the hull, and I'm going to have to re-cement now, which is a little bit annoying. But so the stem needs to be replaced. So what I'm doing here is I'm just marking up where the balance point will be. So I'm taking from the actual hook of the stem, using my straight rule to make the mark, so I'll know where to make my cut for the new stand. And once I've taken the stem off, I find the center point from those two markings I made, and this is where the new opening I'm going to make, and it's going to be around circular hold to hold this clear tube. So the way I'm doing that is I'm just centerizing it, and I'm placing a screwdriver in there to make a little divot in it in the plastic, so that gives me my starting point, and I know where to start drilling. Now if you're doing this, make sure you don't you're not tempted to make the opening where the existing hole is, because the arm is a sweeping bend and it's all to do the balance of the model. You want to take it from that contact point where it would contact the hull of the model, hence why this is so far back, because the stem is going to be a straight stem. So I've drilled the pilot hole, and now I'm just going to open this up. I'm placing my hobby knife in and I'm just twisting it around until I get a decent enough hole before I'll start carving out the actual opening that I need. And I'll just take the glass tube and trace around it, so then I know the circumference of the hole. You can do this with calipers and things, or a compass, of course, but I'm just doing it that way because that's what I've got to hand. And then I'm going to just increase the hole as I go along. And then I'll use the side cutters just to snip away the excess plastic, and then take my hobby knife, or this is an actual sculpting tool that I'm using because it's more robust blade, and just removing the excess plastic. Once that's done, I'll just check for fit to see where the glass tube goes in, and it's a very snug fit, which I want. So yeah, that looks all good. Now I tried cutting a little bit of nick out the tube for the wires to pass over, and I took out too much and ended up snapping it a little bit. But that's okay because that still goes inside, so you won't see it. So next is to do the same again, but on the hull. And because the nature of the shape of this older insulin pen, there's a little knob of glass which is ideal for a contact point to go inside the hull. So just like with the stand, I'm just tracing around the circumference, and then I shall open that up. And this will open up exactly the same way. Now, as I said, the seam line cracked open when I tried to place the original stand. Now, I haven't re-cemented that yet, because that just gives me the opportunity now to place the new stem in then I'll reseal everything up. As you can see, I've made my hole. Now it's not perfectly circular. That's okay, because it's a small enough hole that this will all be covered up. So as you can see, I'm placing in the cement once more to reseal the seam. I then take the glass tube and place it in the new hole. As you can see there, it fits fairly perfectly, and I'm just going to have to hold this for a few minutes until everything sets. And now it's all set, I'm going to be putting in some more sprue glue inside, just in case I've got any gaps. I don't actually have any, but this is also going to help strengthen the glass tube inside as well. So I'm just putting all this sprue glue around the inside of where the tube is. So maybe this camera angle will show you a little bit better. As you can see there, I'm taking quite a big amount, and then I'll just scrape it onto the side of the glass tube. I'll also put a little bit on the outside as well, just to make sure. So as I'm doing this, this is where I'll end part 8. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds. Subscribe to the channel, and if you can, make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date, not only with this build, but all my future builds as well, of course. Hit the like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.